Erik Horne here with Maddie after the Thunder's 100-83 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Thunder gets back on track after a few days off. Big night from Russell Westbrook. Last time we saw Russell Westbrook before tonight, he was 2 hours after the game shooting practice. That was a 12 three-point attempt night for Russell Westbrook. Tonight, he dials it back, only takes 5 3-pointers, makes 2, but it wasn't just the 3-pointers that were about his game, the lack of 3-pointers, it was his overall game. Just a great triple-double from Russell Westbrook, involving everybody on the floor, and he meets some benchmarks along the way.
Definitely. His ball distribution was super impressive. He came in that second quarter, and the Thunder was really struggling and had been missing shots, and for a second it looks like, oh my gosh, they're going to lose to the worst team in the league. And then Russell gets things moving. He starts really organizing the offense more, and really using post play. He's passing out of the post. Say that 10 times fast.
Passing out of the post, passing out of the post, passing out. Three times. Just three.
And that starts working and keeps working, and they're able to pull back into the game and win this one.
No, he was outstanding. Just one of his better triple-doubles we've seen from him. Efficiency on the offensive end. Some of the passes he was throwing were outstanding. And they needed it because the Thunder started off around the rim so poorly, Westbrook included. Everybody was shooting terribly around the rim, terribly from all areas. You know, Billy Donovan goes with his 4th different shooting guard in the starting lineup. With Alex Abrinas tonight. Abrinas shoots 1 of 9 from the field. He's off, getting plenty of clean looks off of great passes from Russell Westbrook. And once Westbrook comes in, like you said, in that second quarter, he gets to getting deep into the paint. He gets to dropping those little dump-off passes to Jerami Grant. He's cutting baseline. Grant was outstanding tonight, 21 points from him. That really changed the game for the Thunder once they started finishing around the rim. Next thing you know, the game's tied at halftime. And from there, they completely take over the game because, as we've said time and time again, the Thunder has been a great third-quarter team this year. Westbrook doesn't want to answer what the difference is between this year and last year because last year was last year, but there's a clear difference in the way that this team comes out of halftime. You know, some of it's been that they've been playing some bad teams, but even against the good teams, the Golden States, the Charlottes, the Houstons of the world, the Thunder's coming out of halftime, and they're really putting on teams. They held the Cleveland Cavaliers to 15 points in the third quarter tonight.
Yeah, the way that Paul George ended up explaining the difference between last year and this year was we found something that was working, and we stuck with it, and we went with the guy that was hot and didn't make it complicated. We just stuck with what was working, what was simple, and rode that all the way through.
No, and tonight, you also get not only with Westbrook's passing contributions, his rebounding was outstanding. I think he had 19 rebounds tonight. But this is probably the most comfortable we've seen Russell Westbrook in his mid-range game tonight as well. I think he made 5 of 8 of his mid-range shots. The high difficulty bank shots, operating out of that post against poor Colin Sexton is going to have night terrors about Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook this year. In the 2 games that the rookies played against the Thunder this year, Schroeder and Westbrook have just torn him apart. He's going to be a very good player, but defensively they're just giving him fits. But this was the best we've seen Westbrook outside of the paint. Sometimes that can be a good thing, when he gets his rhythm going from outside the paint. But sometimes it can be a bad thing because he can fall in love with that jump shot. Tonight it worked for him.
Yeah, he was making them and didn't fall in love with it. Continued to keep getting the ball to the open guys, and whether that's because he did take those extra shots. And Paul George mentioned that he's been working on it through practice as well, even though I doubt Westbrook would go into all of that with us, or whether it's just another game back from injury. Whatever it was, he looked much more comfortable and, was just in a rhythm.
Shout out to the bench tonight, particularly Deonte Burton. The Thunder closes the second quarter with him. Billy Donovan rode with Deonte Burton for the last 6 minutes of that second quarter. Played very well on both ends, more controlled on offense. The fourth quarter, the Thunder's second unit really starts strong and extends the lead instead of having the starters having to come in and fight back and get back into the game. Second unit did a much better job tonight, even without having Hamidou Diallo and Terrence Ferguson.
And that's been an area that they've been struggling in for the past couple games. So Back on track.
Back on track for at least one game. Next up is Atlanta on Friday. This is going to be a big week and a half week for the Thunder to get some wins under their belt. Atlanta, Detroit, Brooklyn, Chicago, all in a row. And those are teams that the Thunder can, get some wins against. Detroit's a pretty solid team, but the rest of those teams are sub 500 in the East, and this is a big opportunity for the Thunder to extend their winning percentage in the Western Conference. Here's a post-game video from Billy Donovan, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Jerami Grant.